Hello everybody, welcome to tonight's Pack Kraken stream. Interested in purchasing some packs, those are the packs available today. We have Kaldheim Collectors, Zendikar Rising Draft, Augury Draft, Theros Beyond Death Draft, Throne of Eldraine Draft, Core 2021 Draft. I also need to add that we have our Kaldheim set packs in, so let me go ahead and get those added. If I can find it. Be just 1 minute while I get this fixed real quick. That should take care of us. Okay, so as I mentioned, we have Kaldheim Collectors and Set Pets. The Kaldheim Collectors are $20. The set packs are $4. Then all of our draft packs, Zendikar Rising, Ikoria Lair Behemoths, Theros Beyond Death, Throne of Eldraine, and Core 2021 are all $325 each. Shipping for just the hits. Hey Chaos, welcome to the stream tonight. Shipping for just the hits is $5. Let me go ahead and get one other thing fixed real quick. Oops. Button. Having all sorts of fun technical issues tonight. What are you up to tonight, Chaos? Can you hear me? All the sound levels sound good. Playing MTG, that is always a fun thing to do. Okay, well, looks like these technical difficulties, lots of are eluding us. If I can get this fixed. Sounds good. Good to hear. There's a row between this Core 2021 row and the row that says Kaldheim. Don't want the Kaldheim. But of course, I can't get it to work. That kind of worked. Doing. Ah, I think I found it. Here we go. How to get it to look pretty. I think we've got it. Got one more thing to tidy up here real quick. Hey, look. Things look how they're supposed to. That only took how long? Like 5 minutes? Sorry about that. But gotta make sure everything looks good. As I was trying to mention when I couldn't find the row I was talking about, shipping is $5 for hits only or $9 for all cards opened. It's only a rares, mythics, foils, and anything over $1. So if you're opening a collector pack, that's pretty much everything. But for the other packs, it'll just be the cards mentioned there. Chaos, supposedly my jumpstart box is coming in tomorrow, so just to let you know about that. But if you're interested in picking up anything else, please let me know. If not, we are going to get started doing some sorting that I've been neglecting. Let me go grab the cards. I will be right back. And we're back. Looks like we have a quick ad there on Spotify. Have not purchased Spotify Premium yet, but hopefully we'll be doing so in the near future. So been opening up some packs on the YouTube channel. If you haven't had a chance, search Cothern Cards on YouTube and you can subscribe there. Also, if you're listening anywhere or if you're on YouTube, you can also follow me on Twitch. It's a little easier for these live streams, I think, on Twitch. Twitch.tv/CothernCards. I've been opening up packs for my YouTube channel. I also did a pricing video today. Don't know if you, I think you saw that one, Chaos. Hopefully that was helpful for you. But I always get my, open the cards, but I don't always have time to sort them. So I'll be taking care of some of that today. Looks like that one particular spot is not going to be a good spot for the cards. So Kaldheim has been a lot of fun, and I have quite a few cards here that we need to go through. Let me just sort these out in some piles to get started. I have no clue what all these piles are, so I'm gonna have to start going through. I think I sleeved all the foils and rares is what it was, and maybe the art cards too, and the list cards did that as well. But I need to sort everything else. So for the first like 10 set boosters I opened, I did not get a single white common in the front of the packs. It was wild. All I had was blue, black, red, and green. And then I opened up some packs the other day and I finally got some white. So that was nice because I am trying to complete sets after all. Go ahead and get that music back going again. So today I will be starting out sorting Kaldheim cards. So let's take a look at the art cards I've gotten so far. These art cards are beautiful. This one right here is Mistwalker. That's a great limited card. Love to play with that. This one is Turid, God of Fright. Some amazing artwork right there. Let me go ahead and get the autofocus on. Forgot to do that before we got started. There we go. There's Turid right there. At first I called her Tegrid. I don't know why. There's definitely an R before that G. And then we have Vorinclex. Would love to open one of these, but have not had the chance to do that yet. And then I have a double art card. I have, I believe this is the Prismatic Bridge, the back of Asika. I got a regular one and a full art. Hey Novazula, how are you doing tonight? Good to see you in chat. Also picked up a sweet Tibalt card. Nova Zulu, if you are interested in picking up any packs, prices are up above me. You can type !shop in chat and it should give you a link to purchase packs. If not, no big deal at all. I am just sorting through some cards right now until we have some packs to open. This one, I think this is one of the lands. This is Immerstrom Skullcairn. Pretty sweet artwork right there. Next up, this looks like another land for sure. Port of Carfell, another one of those uncommon sacrifice lands. These are great for limited. This is the alternate art Coma. On the art card, it's a little easier to see because it's a little bigger, but you see the little tiny person trying to fight the giant serpent, so that's pretty cool. This is another one of the tap lands, I believe. This is Surtland Frostbite. Sorry, not tap lands. Sacrifice uncommon cycle of lands. Pretty sweet looking card right there. And then we have the Dwarven Reinforcements. I almost missed the fact that this is a gold art signed card. I didn't even notice it when I opened it, when I was sorting through them afterwards. You can see right there in the glare of the light is that signature. It was such random placement and so small, it was hard to notice there. So those are the art cards I've gotten so far. Still have plenty to open up. Also opened up some list cards so far. Sorry about that. Have Tybalt Rakish Instigator. This is not the Tybalt I wanted to open, but it is a Tybalt nonetheless. That's from War of the Spark. We have Golden Globe Moth. I think this is maybe... I have no clue what set that is, but it's a common. So I was not too impressed with that. We also have Evermind. This is one of the Kamigawa block cards. And we have Marauding Raptor, M20 rare. What a waste of a spot in a list spot, especially for the rare. Wish we would have pulled something nicer there, but it is what it is. So I've already sleeved up my rares and my foils, but what I'm doing with my cards is sorting them by color, then alphabetically, which is essentially the numbered list order. So I'm going to go through real quick and get these into the color stacks, and then we will go ahead and take a look at the individual cards I have been opening up. Let's see, looks like some of these are getting off screen, so we'll try to move some stuff around. I've been drafting Kaldheim lately on Arena. Has anybody else been drafting Kaldheim? Would love to hear what your thoughts are on that. It's been interesting. I've had some where I do awesome and some where I do awful. There's just so much to keep track of in this set when you're playing that it can be quite a bit overwhelming. That is for sure. It's a lot of fun, and I'm not an expert drafter by any means. But I have been learning, so that's good. Have some artifacts, and then some more lands, it looks like. Also have our tokens, our extended art cards, and then our theme deck card and add card. Go ahead and get these foils and rares in there. Great piles as well. Got some mythics too. Always nice, although it'd be nice if I got some valuable mythics for a change. Have not had that opportunity, unfortunately. Haven't done awful, but have not done great either. So let's see what we have to sort through today. Go ahead and get some of these piles out of the way. Start organizing a little bit more here. What are you up to tonight, Nova Zulu? Good to see you in chat. If I know your name, your real name other than Nova Zulu, I apologize. I'm so bad at connecting everybody's online identities with their actual names. It's been overwhelming to be a part of this huge community. Just got home from Aaron's long day. I feel you on the long day part. Had a long day at work, and I shoveled the driveway twice. We were getting 8 to 12 inches of snow right now, so that is loads of fun. I hope you enjoy yourself and have a good evening. So these are our first few cards. Get these in order real quick, and then we will go through what we have. Okay, so first up, we Yeah, that is quite a bit of snow. That is for sure. Let's see. So first up, we have Guard Braggart. This is 3 and a white for 3/3. You can boast it when it attacks, pay 1 and a white, untap it, and put a 1/1 counter on it. This has been fun and limited. It's a little slow, but it can be very useful. That is for sure. Next up, we have Codespell Cleric, another useful limited card. This is great in the double spells matters decks. It's a 1/1 for 1 with vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, if it was the second spell you cast, you put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Next up, Doomscore Oracle. This is another double spell enabler. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, you gain 2 life. Foretell for a white. It's 2 and a white, so foretelling it is pretty cost effective, especially if you're looking to double spell. Next up, we have Giant Ox. This particular one is a foil version. This can be a great blocker, although I definitely do not pick it high in draft. Next up, we have Godzilla Guardian. I've seen this do a lot of good for people. It's 3/6 vigilance for 5 and a white, or you can foretell it for 2, or you pay 2 to foretell it, and then the foretell cost is 3 and a white. It's kind of hard because for a 6 mana spell, you're looking for something a little more impactful, but it can be a great blocker. So how's the packs things work? Basically, you pay, or you type !shop in chat. I will go ahead and do that for you real quick so the link pops up. This takes you to a Google form. You fill out what you want and some information that I will need to ship the cards to you. You add up the cost of the packs plus the shipping. It's $5 for hits only, which are rares, mythics, foils, and anything in the pack over $1. Or $9 for all your cards shipped. There's another option on there if you end up just buying a pack or 2. I think there's a $2 shipping option. I'll ship it in a plain white envelope up to 5 cards. If you plan on buying on multiple streams, I can also hold your cards for you to save on shipping costs. I plan to stream probably once or twice a week right now. But basically, you fill out the form. It has my PayPal on there, cotherncards@gmail.com. You send payment by PayPal friends and family, or I'm also happy to take PayPal goods and services, or if you want to add the 2.9% plus 30-cent fee per transaction on there, totally understand if you want to have a little bit of assurance there. But basically, I will open the packs on stream, put them in a pile with your name on them, and ship them out whenever you're ready. So if you have any questions, let me know. The packs I have available are up above me. I will be getting some Jumpstart packs in tomorrow. Those are going to be $6 a piece. I know Chaos is interested in those as well. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you have anything you want to ask offline, feel free to email me, cotherncards@gmail.com. Just let me know, because I'm not checking that while we're live unless somebody directs me to. Also, if you want to sponsor a whole box, I can get you better deals. But these are the individual pack prices. Next up, we have Iron Verdict for 2 and a white. You can deal 5 damage to target tap creature, or you can foretell it and then pay a single white to cast it on a later turn. This is a great removal spell if you're in white. That and Bound in Gold are 2 of the removal or semi-removal spells you're looking for. Next up is a rare, Rally the Ranks. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures you control the chosen type get +1/+1 for 1 and a white. In draft, this is hard because you're not building your deck with only a certain type of creature. Sometimes you get lucky and you have really strong connections in white. Probably be clerics or angels. But then you're dealing with multiple colors, and it depends what you get. So it's kind of hard to build a deck around something it's all right, but it's not super powerful. Here's the classic reprint, Revitalize. 1 and a white, you gain 3 life and draw a card. I love this in my white life gain deck with this guy right here, actually, Righteous Valkyrie. 2 and a white for a 2/4 flying angel cleric. Whenever another angel or cleric enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. As long as you have at least 7 more life than your starting total, so 27 in standard, creatures you control get +2/+2. What I love about this creature is getting 2 of these out early in the game. So you get a 2/4 out, and then you put another one out, gain 4 life, and then all your creatures get +4/+4 if you get above that 27 life total. So that is a ton of fun. Not fun if you're on the receiving side, but it's fun if you're on the playing side. Then we have Spectral Steel, 1 and a white for an enchantment aura enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2. You can pay 1 and a white and exile it from your graveyard to return another target aura or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. This can be great to get back some auras in your draft deck, but it has to be a pretty draft heavy, aura heavy draft. And finally in white for the cards I have right now, Wings of the Cosmos, pay a white. Target creature gets +1/+3 and gains flying until end of turn. Untap it. Not sure what I think about that one. I've seen it played, but not always super effectively. Why? Autofocused. Be cooperate. Get that working. Yeah. Like I said, Nova Zulu, no pressure to get packs. Just there if you are interested. Definitely be happy to open whatever you're looking to get. Let's see. There's something I'm going to. Try to get this autofocus to. They work. So I have the super stash. I actually saved up some money to actually start doing this specifically. I wanted to have some inventory so people could order packs if they want to. I'm not an LGS. Yes, you would consider me a reseller. I bought the boxes online, and I just sell packs. And if I don't sell the packs, I can sell the boxes later on. This is kind of an experiment for me, so I'm just enjoying it right now. It's been a lot of fun. I've sold some packs to Chaos. He bought me out of my jumpstart last week. We opened up 11 packs for him. Got a Tiny Bones. Got a couple other $7, $8 cards. Some $5 card. But basically, my YouTube channel. I'm sure you've seen it by now. Cothern cards over on YouTube. I crack at least 1 pack a day. Just trying to build my collection. Basically, I'm collecting sets of cards, and right now I'm just doing the basic numbered set, not all the alternate art and stuff. But I wanted to have a way to open up more packs for content for the channel. I'm happy to do sponsored boxes here or sponsored boxes on I can record a YouTube video if you'd rather not do it live. That is an option as well. Our white cards here are done being sorted. Next up we have blue. Go ahead and get those in order real quick, then we'll start going through those unless we have some pack orders come in from Nova Zulu. Let's see. A lot of times it's just easier to look at the card numbers than it is to actually do the alphabetizing. Okay, so it looks like the blue's all in order. That was pretty quick. Want to say hello to all the viewers on YouTube. Feel free to jump into chat. If you're not interested, that's cool too. Also, if you prefer, you can watch this over on Twitch, twitch.tv/CothernCards. Definitely prefer getting most cards from a pack if I buy it. I'm still a bit new to pack breaks, buying boosters on stream. Yeah, I totally get that. And, you know, I'm not trying to make money off shipping or anything like that. I would ideally charge people what it actually costs for me to ship. But right now I'm still figuring out how much everything costs. And I know that a lot of people, the commons and uncommons are just bulk. So they can add a lot of weight to a pack or to a shipping pack, and if you can get it for under keep it under a pound, it's a lot cheaper to ship. So those are the options that I've come up with right now. I'm still experimenting with those. Some other streamers seem to be doing that. Yeah, I do use pirate ship. That definitely saves some money. Depending on where you ship in the country, if you can keep it first class under 16 ounces, then it can be up to like $6 to ship it, and then you also have to count in all the shipping supplies and stuff. Like I have to make sure you get your cards in good condition, right? So it's a learning experience, and I'm going to be ordering some more shipping supplies in bulk, and that'll bring costs down once I get a feel for how much stuff people are ordering. So it's definitely a learning process, but over $8 shipping, probably best use Priority 2 day. Yeah, even pirate ship, the first class has tracking too. So that's one of the great things about using pirate ship. So I'm excited about that. But like I said, if you think you'll be buying on multiple streams, you don't need your cards right away. I can hold them and combine shipping costs for you to save some money. You just need to let me know, like what cards you want. Or if you pay for just the hits and then you want everything, I can give you a quote for what the price difference would be. That way, if you want everything, I could say, hey, listen, you already paid $5 for shipping. Ship it all, it'd be like $7.50 or whatever. It'd be an extra $2.50. So definitely open to options there. The key is when making payments by PayPal, if you're doing friends and family, don't leave any notes when you submit that form. It gives me all the information I need on the back end for me, and just having notes in there can cause some issues with PayPal. So but as I mentioned before, no pressure at all. I have plenty of cards to sort here tonight, so let's see. Our first card here is a Mythic, Alrund's Epiphany, sometimes called Time Walk. Pay 5 and 2 blue, create 2/1/1 blue bird creature tokens with flying. Take an extra turn after this one, then exile Alrund's Epiphany. Foretell for 4 and 2 blue, so you could do a little cheaper. Yeah, Cash App, Venmo, and Zelle. I'm thinking about getting those as well. If you prefer any of those, let me know and I can get an account set up. I was just trying to keep it simple here tonight. Start out with PayPal with something I already have, but it's definitely something I will set up if people are interested in those. So if there's one you prefer to use, shoot me email at cotherncards@gmail.com and I can get that set up for the next stream. So here we have a Null. It's 1 blue, counter target artifact or enchantment spell. Next up, Augury Raven. This is a fun one in draft. It's a 3/3 flyer for 3 and a blue, which isn't great, but what is good is the foretell version of playing this. You foretell it, and then you pay 1 and a blue on your next turn, and you can get a 3/3. Yeah, Cash App and Venmo. I will definitely have to look into those. This can be a bomb if you're able to draft enough snowlands to support it. 1 and a blue for a 1/3 avalanche color. Pay 2. Target snowland you control becomes a 4/4 elemental with hexproof and haste. You can run over some people with that one for sure. Behold the Multiverse has been pretty useful for me too. For 3 and a blue, you get to scry 2, then draw 2 cards, or you can foretell it. The foretell cost is 1 and a blue, so you can pay 2 if you have some extra mana, and then when you start needing some cards, you could pay the cheaper foretell cost. Berg Strider, this one's in foil version. For 4 and a blue, you get a 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, tap target artifact or creature an opponent controls. If you paid a snow mana to cast it, it doesn't untap during its controller's next untaps phase. That's a pretty sweet way to get the board under control. This is kind of a blue removal spell, but it definitely comes at a cost. You pay 1 blue and enchant a creature. When it enters the battlefield, tap the enchanted creature, but it deals damage to you equal to its power. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. So that keeps it tapped down. Next up, we have Barrow Intruder for 1 blue. This is kind of like Zula Port Duelist, I think it's called, from Zendikar Rising. It's flash. Whenever it enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -2, -0 until end of turn. Next up, we have Depart the Realms for 1 and a blue. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If you don't want to play this right now, you can foretell it and then only pay 1 blue in the future to play it. So that's pretty useful. Disdainful Stroke isn't something I've kept in my deck just because by the time sometimes I get it and I don't need it right away, or then when I draw it, it's not useful anymore. But it's 1 and a blue, counter target spell with converted mana cost 4 or greater. Hey Nova Zulu, have you ever bought any packs on any other streams? I know there's some other great pack cracking streamers out there. Next up, we have Draugr Thought Thief, 2 and a blue, and Draugr Thought Thief enters the battlefield. Look at the top card of your of target player's library. You may put that card into their graveyard. So I've seen a lot of people use this, what I think personally is incorrectly. They use it to look at their opponent's library, when in reality they can kind of use this to scry. You don't get to put it on the bottom of your library. You would have to put it in the graveyard. But this can be pretty useful if you want to check out what your next card is and get rid of it if you don't need it. Then we have Frostpeak Yeti, 3 and a blue. For 3/3, you can pay 1 in the snow mana, and it can't be blocked this turn. This can be good to get somebody through, but I haven't used it a lot. I actually try to stay away from drafting snow. I have 2 of those, actually, just because I'm not that talented of a drafter yet. It adds a lot of complexity that you have to draft every snow land. You can't just add unlimited snow lands. This is another good snow card for 2 and a blue. Pay snow land and tap it to tap target artifact or creature. Next up, we have Carfell Harbinger, 1 and a blue. Tap it and add a blue. Spend this mana to cast a foretell card from your hand or cast an instant or sorcery spell. Mists of Litjar is up next, 1 and a blue for flash, enchantment aura, enchanted creature or vehicle, and it gets -3, -0. I have 2 of those. Mistwalker, this is a fun one in draft. Unless you have a big blocker if you need it, or a big attacker if not. It's a changeling, so it can be any creature type, helpful for all those tribal creature type matters cards. Flying, 1/4 for 1 and a blue. It gets +1, -1 until end of turn. Don't use this 4 times or else you'll end up killing yourself unless you have some other enchantments on it. Let me go ahead and grab a drink of water real quick. All this talking, sometimes you need a little bit of water. So we have Pilfering Hawk here, 1 and a blue for 1/2 flyer. Not great, but not awful. The nice part is it lets you filter through your deck. It's pay a snow mana and tap it. You can draw a card and then discard a card. So if you have extra lands late in the game, you can use Pilfering Hawk to get rid of them and hopefully replace it with something a little more useful. Raven forms another form of removal for blue, but it can cause some problems if you're not prepared for it. For 2 and a blue, you exile target artifact or creature. Its controller creates a 1/1 blue bird creature token with flying. Unless you have an answer for that 1/1, it can cause a lot of problems, especially with all the runes and enchantments in the set. You can also foretell it for a single blue. Varnish Shore is a big card that I feel a lot of people aren't using, but is super useful. You can choose one or both depending on the circumstances you're in. You can return target non-land permanent onto the top or bottom of, well, okay, so the owner of the target non-land permanent gets to choose whether to put the permanent on the top or bottom of their library. The other option is return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. So you can basically return 2 permanents, which is pretty sweet. And depending on if they want to keep it or not, they can put it on top of their deck. If they do, they lose a draw. So it can be really useful to slow down a game, especially late. but it is expensive. Strategic Planning's up next. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. And we have 2 of those. The end of our blue cards. Anybody have anything going on in their lives or any magic things they want to talk about? Happy to chat about whatever you are interested in. Just leave a note in the chat below. Next up we have black. Let's go ahead and get those sorted out. Then we'll start going through what all the cards do. Okay, so first up we have Blood Sky Bezerker for 1 and a black. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, put 2 1/1 counters on it against menace until end of turn. This thing can get huge if you can double spell a lot, so it could be very helpful in limited. Death Knell Berserker, 1 and a black. When Death Knell Berserker dies, if its power is 3 or greater, create a 2/2 black zombie Berserker creature token. This can be very useful if you have some enchantments or artifacts, equipments in your deck. Gold Vein Pick, anything that gives it +1. Then whenever it dies, you get a 2/2 zombie Berserker token in return. For a 1/2, that's not bad. Or for a 1 and a black card, that's not bad. Demonic Gifts is a fun combat trick you can play. For 1 and a black, until end of turn, target creature gets +2/+0. Whenever it dies, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. This can be great with cards that have a come into play effect, like the 1/1 black elf that makes your opponent discard a card. Dogged Pursuit. Haven't played this a lot in draft. For 3 and a black, at the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. We have the full rare from my box so far. 3 and a black. For a 4/4 zombie cleric. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile that card with an ice counter on it instead. Then you can cast spells from among cards and exile your opponent's own with ice counters on them. You can spend mana from snow sources as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. So this one can be a lot of fun. If you're just joining us tonight, I am going through some cards, doing some sorting, then going through what each card does and its limited abilities. You can purchase packs, which are available for sale up there. Type !shop in the chat. We'll send you a link to a form where you can put what you want and it tells you how to pay for the packs. Then I will open them up on stream and ship them to you. Shipping is $5 for hits only. Hits are mythics, rares, foils, and anything over $1 in the pack. Anything else? And then if you want all the cards shipped to you, it's $9 for all cards opened. If people would prefer, I can hold on to your cards if you plan on opening cards on multiple streams. If not, I can ship them out as soon as I'm able to get to the post office. We just got 8 to 12 inches of snow today, so it might be a couple days till that's cleared up, but I do ship out as soon as possible if that's what you want. Next up is Drugger Recruiter. 3 and a black for a zombie cleric 3/3. When it attacks, you can boast for 3 and a black to return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Red Rider's up next for 5 and a black. 3/7. You can pay 1 and a black and exile a creature from your graveyard. Target opponent loses 3 life. This is a pretty big one. Pretty big cost creature. That's a neat effect. By the time you're able to play it, hopefully you have some stuff in your graveyard. But I think there are other creatures I'd rather play for 6 if I have them available. Dusk Wielder is a single black for a 1/2, so not awful. It's an Elf Berserker. You can pay 1 to boast. Target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Not a lot of usefulness here because you'll only attack with a 1/2 early, and you might get to boast once or twice, but you're probably better off playing spells if you have them, so not sure how much I like that card. Elder Fang Disciples, that 1/1 elf I was talking about. For 1 and a black, when it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. This can be good early because it gets you a card on the board and makes your opponent make a choice, but late game, if you draw this and they only have 1 or 2 cards in your hand, you can get rid of something pretty powerful. Feed the Serpent, great piece of removal. 2 and 2 black, exile target creature or planeswalker. Limited, this is great. In constructed, it's probably a little expensive, but still can be useful for sure. Just checking a couple things quick. Get back to the stack of cards. Next up, we have Grim Draugr. This can be great if you have the snow mana, 2 and a black for a 3/2, 1 and a black or 1 and a snow mana. It gets +1/+1. Sorry, +1/+0 and gains menace. Menace is a great way to get through in draft. But again, this uses snow, and you have to draft your snow lands, so it can be a pretty complex strategy depending on who's at your draft table. Infernal Pets, 2 and a black. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, put a 1/1 counter on it. It gains flying until end of turn. So this can pump up pretty good, and when it gets flying, it can usually get through unless you're playing a white deck or a blue deck. Jarl over the Forsaken is a lot of fun. It's a good way to remove some stuff. It's a little circumstantial, but it can definitely be useful. For 3 and a black, it's a 3/2 with flash. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls that was dealt damage this turn. Best part is you can foretell this and play it on a later turn for 1 and a black. Carfell Kennelmasters, 4 and a black for a 4/4. Whenever Carfell Kennelmaster enters the battlefield, up to 2 target creatures get +1/+0 and gain indestructible until end of turn. The key here, especially on Arena, is up to 2 target creatures. You don't have to target 2 creatures. I've seen some people give their opponent's creatures +1/+0 and indestructible, and that is not something you should be doing. Killen's Faithful, I've seen it played. It can definitely gain you some life, which is nice. It's 2 and a black for a 3/1 with lifelink. When it dies, each player mills 3 cards. I think the most useful thing about this card is if you have stuff that gets, or cards that gets stuff out of your graveyard. If you do, that can definitely be useful. Poison the Cup's another good piece of removal at uncommon. 1 and 2 black, destroy target creature. If it was foretold, which costs 1 and a black, you can scry 2. Priest of the Haunted Edge is up next for 1 and a black. You can tap and sacrifice it. Target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the number of snow lands you control. You can only play this as a sorcery, so if you've dealt damage to a creature during combat, you can play this in your second main phase and get rid of them, or if you have enough snow lands, you can just get rid of them altogether. Raise the Draugr is a great way to get some cards back, but its best form is when you have a bunch of creatures of the same type. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, or return 2 target creature cards that share a creature type from your graveyard to your hand. Return Upon the Tide is an uncommon for 4 and a black. Return target creature card from your graveyard, and the key here is to the battlefield. If it's an elf, create 2 1/1 green elf warrior creature tokens. You can also foretell this and then play it for 3 and a black. Rune of Mortality is 1 and a black for a rune, which means it can enchant any permanent. It can enchant a piece of equipment, or it can enchant a land if you just want to draw a card. But the enchanted permanent, if its creature gets Death Touch, and if it's equipment, it has equipped creature gets Death Touch. Skull Raid's been a fun card for me. 3 and a black, target opponent discards 2 cards. If fewer than 2 cards are discarded this way, draw cards equal to the difference. You can also foretell it for 1 and a black. This could be useful if you need to draw some cards late game, or if you want to see get rid of your opponent's hand. You don't get to choose, but if they only have 2 cards left in their hand, they got to discard them all. Tergrid Shadow's up next. 3 and 2 black. Each player sacrifices 2 creatures. This one's tough. If you get this one early, you can kind of not play any creatures to get around it, or if you're in a bad spot, you can play it. But if you have creatures on the board, you have to sacrifice yours as well. You can also play this if it's been foretold for 2 and 2 black. Village Right's a very notable card that's been reprinted yet again for a black. And sacrificing a creature, you get to draw 2 cards. you're playing red and can steal your opponent's creatures, that can definitely be useful. Way down is a single black, it's an additional cost to cast a spell. Exile a creature card from your graveyard. So you can't play this early unless you already have a creature card in your graveyard, so that's kind of limiting. But if you do have that creature available, target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn for a single black. Wither Crown is one of the black enchant creature. Enchant creature has a base power of 0, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life unless you sacrifice this creature. So you put this on an opponent, and they have to decide if they want to pay life to keep their creature. The downside is enchantments and equipment still have their abilities work on this. So if you have an enchant aura that has +2/+2, they still have that 2 power from the enchantment. Already discussed this one. Looks like I have this out of order. Both of these out of order. The other one is a Mythic, Haunting Voyage, 4 and 2 black. Choose a creature type, return 2 creature cards of that type from your graveyard to the battlefield. If this spell is foretold, return all creatures of that type from your graveyard to the battlefield instead. This is one of those weird cards where the foretell costs more than playing it outright. The foretell is 5 and 2 black. If you have a great draft deck that has a bunch of cards with the same creature type, that can be super powerful. But it's very circumstantial for sure, so it may not always be what you need. Even so, if you can make it work, chances are you probably won the game. The key is living long enough to play it.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we
next up we have red. See how many red cards we have. Not very many. These cards have I think they've all come from set boosters. So the thing with set boosters is they have themes. Well, the themes that they have come up with to me seem like they're mostly just, hey, all these cards share a color. Now that always has not been the case, but for the most part I've noticed I get all cards that are the same color. So it kind of means that the set packs have turned somewhat into theme boosters in a sense. Kind of makes you wonder why they continue to print those. Although with theme boosters now, you get those special theme booster specific cards, so it's always interesting. Okay, so our first red card is Crush the Weak, 2 and a red. It deals 2 damage to each creature, including your own. If a creature dealt damage this turn would die, exile it instead. You can also foretell it and pay it for a single red. This can be great in a deck that doesn't have a lot of creatures with toughness 2 or less, but it can be devastating if you do. You end up probably not playing a card, wishing you had something like this instead. Demon Bolt's good removal. For red, this one's in foil for 2 and a red. Deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. You can also foretell it and then pay a single red to play it later on. Dwarven Reinforcements. This is that signed art card I had earlier, or gold stamped art card, I guess. If you want to be technical. For 3 and a red, create 2 2/1 red Dwarf Berserker creature tokens, or you can foretell it and pay 1 and a red. Fearless pops up next. This has its places, but I have not played it a lot. For a single red, you get a 1/1 with first strike, and you can boast it for 2 and a red, and it gets +2/+0. The thing that stinks with boast is you can only play it once each turn, unless you have that rare that allows you to do it more than once. Next up is Frostbite. For a single red, it deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If you control 3 or more snow permanents, it deals 3 damage instead. Draft, it can be hard to get those 3 snow permanents on the field, but if you do, it's pretty much a lightning bolt. Except I guess it can't target a player, it can only target a creature or planeswalker. This is a fun one to open. The 3rd most valuable card in the set, Goldspan Dragon. For 3 and 2 red, it's a 4/4 dragon with flying and haste. Whenever it attacks or becomes the target of a spell, you create a treasure token. The treasure tokens are very valuable because all treasures you control now have tap and sacrifice it for 2 mana of any one color instead of just a single mana. Provoke the Trolls is up next for 3 and a red, the instant, and it deals 3 damage to any target. If it was a creature that was dealt damage this way, Gets +5/+0 until end of turn. You can use this on your own guys and get some extra damage through if somebody ends up not getting blocked, or if they have trample. Run Amok's another fun combat trick. For 1 in the red, target attacking creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample until end of turn. Tybalt's trickeries cause lots of problems. It was recently banned in some non-standard formats. For 1 in the red, this card is a mouthful. You counter target spell, choose 1, 2, or 3 at random, and then the controller of the countered spell, or no, you, the controller, mill that many cards. Sorry, the controller of the spell that was counter mills that many cards and exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card with a different name than the spell that was countered. They can cast that card without paying its mana cost, and then they put the exile cards on the bottom of their library in random order. Basically, use this to counter one of your own spells, like a Tormod's Crypt, and then you go through your library, which may have a bunch of lands or some really powerful bombs like Koma or Ugin. Last red card today is Tundra Ephemeral, 1 and 2 red. Deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker, and then you get to add a colorless for each snow mana used to cast this spell. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as phases end. So it's a sorcery. You can play it in your first main phase, and then you can use the mana in your second main phase. That's it for the red cards tonight. Everybody enjoying the stream so far? Want me to go through some stuff faster and just get through the sorting, or do you like the speed we've been going at? Go ahead and let me know in that chat box, and I can do whatever you prefer. Go ahead and get these sorted out real quick, and then we will go through the cards. Okay, so here are our green cards. We have a rare Blessing of Frost for 3 and a green. Distribute X/1/1 counters among any number of creatures you control where X is the number of snow mana spent to cast this spell. Then draw a card for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. This can be card draw plus some buffing, so that can be a lot of fun. Elderleaf Mentor is a fun 2-for-1 card. For 3 and green, you get a 3/2 elf, and when it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 elf warrior creature token. Elven Bow's great because it lets you block flyers and create a creature for pretty cheap. You pay a green, and when it enters the battlefield, you may pay 2 if you do create a 1/1 green elf warrior token and attach Elven Bow to it. So the 1/1 turns into a 2/3 and it has reach. In the Fang Bearer, there's been a lot of talk about this card. I've seen a lot of Death Touch poison decks in Standard in my free play. So for 1 in the green, you get a 1/3 with Death Touch. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. If you get 10 poison counters, you lose the game. Glittering Frost is a great mana fixer. For 2 in a green, you enchant a land. Enchant land is a snow land now. Whenever it's tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional mana of any color. So this can be great if you're playing Path for the World Tree or Prismatic Bridge. Grizzled Outrider, just a simple 5/5 for 4 and a green. Still, 5 toughness and 5 attack is very difficult to deal with in limited unless you're playing a rare or another one of those big beefy creatures. Guardian Gladewalker for 1 and a green. It's a changeling, so it's every creature type. It's great for those tribal creature type matters decks. Whenever Guardian Gladewalker enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Verizon Seeker is another great way to fix your mana. For 2 and a green, you get a 3/2. You can boast for 1 and a green when you attack, and search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Unfortunately, this does not put it into play, but it's still a lot of fun. Ice-Hide Troll is another one of those snow matters cards. For 2 and a green, you get a 2/3. You can play 2 snow mana. It gets +2/+0 and indestructible until end of turn. You do have to tap it though. So that can be good if you're trying to finish somebody off, or if you need an indestructible blocker. Spirit Sentinel's another mana fixer. I'm not sure how much I like this one. I've seen it be very useful, but at the same time I've seen it be very useless. For green, you get a 1/2 with reach, but you can tap it to tap an untap and tap another untapped creature you control, and you add 1 mana of any color. King Herald's Revenge is a sorcery. Until end of turn, target creature gets +1/+1 for each creature you control, and it gains trample. It must be blocked this turn if able. So it's a great way to get some people to block, kill some creatures. Mammoth Growth is a great combat trick for 2 and a green, or Foretell for a single green. You get target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. If they got trample, this card would be that much better, but unfortunately that's not how it works. Mass Vandal is very powerful. It's a 1/3 for 1 and a green. It's changeling, so it's important for those creature types matters decks. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, exile target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. So this can deal with a lot of things that your opponent may have, runes, stuff like that. Path to the World Tree. I do not have the skill to play this in draft, but it's an enchantment. When it enters battlefield, search your library for a basic land card and reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. If you pay 2, a white, blue, black, red, and green, and sacrifice it, you gain 2 life and draw 2 cards. Target opponent loses 2 life. Path to the World Tree deals 2 damage to up to 1 target creature, and you create a 2/2 bear creature token. If you can get this thing to go off, it can be very useful. None of the individual items are super strong, but together it is quite a powerful combination. Rootless U is 3 and 2 green. When it dies, search your library for a creature card with power toughness 6 or greater, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. So, playing this card hopefully means you have some other useful stuff in your deck to go get it. If you're playing this for 3 and 2 green, chances are you can play those 6 or toughness creatures soon as well. Roots of Wisdom. Pay 1 and a green, mill 3 cards, and return a land or elf card from your graveyard to your hand. If you can't, you draw a card. So either way, you get a card. If you're playing elves, it can be a little more useful. Otherwise, I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of this card. Vernon Mite is one of the fun runes in this set. For 1 and a green, you draw a card when it enters the battlefield, and a permanent gets +1/+1 and has trample. Balrulf's Packmate, one of the better commons in this set for sure. For 3 and a green, you get a 3/3, which isn't great, but isn't awful. But when it enters the battlefield, you get to draw a card. The best part is you can foretell it and play it for just 1 and a green, so you can get this out on turn 3, which is even better. Sculptor of Winter is an elf rogue for 1 and a green. It's 2/2, and you tap it and untaps target snowland. That can help you if you are not getting the lands you need. Well, enough lands. If you don't have the specific lands you need, it's not going to really help you out. Spirit of the Alder Guard is another snow card. It's 3 and a green for 0/4 bear spirit token or creature. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a snowland card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So that helps. And then it gets +1/+0 for each other snow permanent, not just snow land that you control. Next up, we have Struggle for Skemfar, 3 and a green. Put a 1/1 counter on a target creature you control. Then that creature fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. You can pay it its foretell cost of just 1 green if it's been foretold. So you buff your creature and then have it fight. That's basically a removal for a lot of people. Nova Zulu, I'm thinking about wrapping this up. If you're interested in picking any packs up tonight, please let me know. Otherwise, I will be streaming again shortly. Just have a few more cards to go through tonight. Have the gold cards up next. If I can get them in the right order. And the gold cards have a lot of text on them, that is for sure. First up, we have Arnie slays the troll. It's a saga. Target creature you control fights up to one target creature you don't control. Then you add a red on the second counter. Put 2 1/1 counters on up to one target creature you control. Finally, you gain life equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. Somebody said this seems backwards. Why would you add the counters after you fight the creature? And this is all about the story of Arnie slaying the troll. So you fight first and then you get stronger afterwards. So when you think about it that way, it makes a lot of sense, but from a mechanical standpoint, it would be better if it was the other way around. Finding the old gods next for 2, a black and a green. Target creature or target non-land permanent gets destroyed in turn 1, and then on the next turn, you search your library for a force card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and shuffle your library. Then the last one, creatures you control gain death touch until end of turn. That can be great if you're playing with Finn the Fang Bearer, that is for sure. Fallen Imposter on the first 2 lore counters, you get put a 1/1 counter on up to 1 target creature. Then on the third, you get to exile a creature with the greatest power among creatures target opponent controls. Cole the Forge Master's up next for red and white. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, if it was enchanted or equipped, return it to its owner's hand. Creature tokens you control that are enchanted or equipped get +1/+1. Is a 2/2. Maha, Guard Protector. This is the fun one. Has won me some games for sure. For 2, a green and 2 white. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. This is a legendary creature human warrior 2/3. Whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 white human warrior creature token. If Maha is still on the battlefield, that means it turns to 2/2. Draft, you always seem to have lands, so this can definitely help you out. Even if you're getting flooded, you get a 2/2 from it every turn as long as Maha stays on the field. Raven's Warning is 1, a white, and a blue. First, you create a 1/1 blue bird creature token with flying. You gain 2 life. Next, whenever 1 or more creatures you control with flying deal combat damage to the player this turn, look at that player's hand and draw a card. Finally, you may play a card you own from outside the game on top of your library. In Standard, this is great. In Draft, a card you own from outside of the game is the chaff that you didn't want in your deck. So that last part is not very good in Draft. Showdown of the Scalds. I've seen this played a lot. 2 red and a black. Exile the top 4 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. Then on 2 and 3, whenever you cast a spell this turn, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. If you're playing double spells matters, you can play a bunch of spells after that. You can beef up your creatures quite a lot. Svella Ice Shaper's also great in limited. 1, a red and a green for 2/4, so 3 for 2/4 is good on its own. Then for 3, you can tap it to create a colorless snow artifact token named Icy Manolith with tap to add 1 mana of any color, so it's mana fixing. Then for 6, a red and a green, you tap it, look at the top 4 cards of your library, and cast a spell among them without paying its mana cost. It's expensive, but it is a very powerful effect, that is for sure. Showdown of the Scalds. I think we already had one of those, so I got one of them in the wrong order. The last one is Trickster's God Heist. Let's look at that one. This one is very powerful as well. For 2, a blue and a black, you may exchange control of 2 target creatures. Both creatures still have to be on the battlefield when you go to exchange them, or it fizzles. Turn 2, exchange control of 2 target non-basic, non-creature permanents that share a card type. So 2 enchantments, 2 artifacts, something like that. And finally, target player loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. Next up, we are getting into our artifacts. These are short. They're already in order, so let's go ahead and go through them. Getting close to the end here. About to wrap up the stream, guys. If anybody wants to get some packs in, ! Shop. Pyre of Heroes. Pay 2 to cast this. Then you pay 2 and tap it. Sacrifice creature. Search your library for a creature card that shares a creature type with this sacrifice creature and has a converted mana cost equal to 1 plus that creature's converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. You can only activate this as a sorcery. Not great in draft, could be strong in standard. Replicating Ring's a great way to mana fix. For 3, you get to tap it and add 1 mana of any color. At the beginning of each upkeep, you put a night counter on it. Then if there are 8, remove all of them and create 8 colorless snow artifact tokens named Replicating Ring. That has tap, add 1 mana of any color. This is a snow artifact, so that means they are snow mana, which can be very useful in draft. Score and Effigy. For 3, you get a 2/3. Not great. What is great is you can foretell it on turn 2 for 2, and then pay 0 and play it on turn 3. Next up, we have our lands. We have basics and non-basics. Let's go ahead and get these sorted real quick. On these, I will mostly be focusing on the art, that is for sure. Okay, let's go ahead and get through these real quick. First up, we have Alpine Meadow, the tap red-white snowland. It's a beautiful piece of artwork right there. X-Guard Armory. This is a good one for limited. Enters the battlefield tapped. Then you can tap it and add a white. Or pay 1, 2 red and a white and tap it and sacrifice it. Search your library for an aura or equipment card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. You have some great auras or equipment that can definitely be very useful. Guard Stronghold is also useful. Is the green tap land. You can pay green and 2 white, tap it and sacrifice it to put a 1/1 counter on up to 2 target creatures you control. The key is to gain vigilance and lifelink, so you can gain some life, keep your blockers, and do some damage. Not Fold Slumber Mound. Another one. It's the red tap land. Pay 3 red and 2 green, sacrifice it, destroy target land, and create a 4/4 green troll warrior creature token with trample. Not bad. Then you have the Highland Forest Foil. That's the red-green snow tap land. Ice Tunnel is the blue-black snow tap land. Beautiful artwork right there. Wonder if that's just the light at the end of the tunnel, or if that is some sort of magical creature. Shimmerdrift Veil is first off beautiful artwork, but it's also great for fixing and limited. When it's the battlefield, you get to choose a color and it comes into play tapped. You can tap it to add 1 mana of the chosen color, but is a snowland. Got a couple of those. Sulphurous Mire's up next. I imagine this Sulphurous Mire would not really have a ton of trees because they're on fire. So unless the trees grow super fast, once those are burned down, it would just be kind of nasty. It is gorgeous though. You are right about that. Tyrant Sanctum's up next. You can tap it to add a colorless. Pay 2 to tap it. Target legendary creature becomes a god in addition to its other creature types. And you can put a 1/1 counter on it. You can do that multiple times if you want to pump it. And then the last ability here, you can pay 4, tap it, and sacrifice it to put an indestructible counter on target god. So if you have a god that you don't want to die, they're not indestructible in this set. So you go ahead and do that. Finally, finishing up here, we have Snow-Covered Plains. Snow-Covered Island. I want to know what's an island about this. This looks like some rocks sticking up out of the water to me, personally. It's pretty, but I don't know why it's an island. Then we have Snow-Covered Swamp in full version right here. Definitely like that artwork. More like snow-covered stacks of rocks, but definitely looks swampy as well. Got the non-foil version right there. It's a little less fun to look at. Then we have our Snow-Covered Forest. There are not any huge forests, but all the trees here in Indiana are definitely covered in snow right now. And then finally, we have Rhymewood Falls. Forest Island. Not really an island, but a waterfall, so water. Beautiful artwork right there as well. So that is it for our Kaldheim regular cards. We also have some tokens and then the alternate art cards to go through. And then, unless you have something you want to talk about or anything you want to do, Nova, we'll be signing off. Definitely appreciate everybody stopping by tonight. Here we have our 1/1 human warrior token. Next up, we have our 1/1 bird flying token. Our 2/1 dwarf berserker token. We have Archaea, the inexorable emblem, which I do not have her yet, so this is pretty useless for me right now. But the emblem says at the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a legendary spell from your hand, from your graveyard, or from among other cards you own in exile without paying its mana cost. Next up, we have the Bowl of Jolly Ranchers. I like Jolly Ranchers, so if you want to give me one of those, you can go ahead and send it my way, and if it looks this nice, I'm probably selling the bowl. But it's a treasure token, so sacrifice it and add 1 mana of any color. Have another Dwarf Berserker token, so apparently I did not sort these before we got started. Make sure these are in the right order. Alright. And finally we have our showcase alternate art cards. This one's a lot of fun, especially limited as Seeker's Chariot. The other one looks very fluffy and nice kitties. These look very angry cats, that is for sure. It's a legendary artifact vehicle for 4/4 when it is a creature. When it enters the battlefield, create 2/2/2 green cat creature tokens, and then whenever it attacks, create a token that's a copy of target token you control. Its crew cost is 4. Next up, we have Cole the Forge Master. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, if it was enchanted or equipped, return it to its owner's hand. Creature tokens you control that are enchanted or equipped get +1/+1. This is pretty limited to those artifacts that create tokens for the most part, although you can use it in other ways. Then our last card of the, or nope, not yet. The second to last card of the evening is Vega the Watcher, 1 a blue and a white, flying 2/2 bird spirit. Looks like an owl. Don't know why it's not owl, but it is what it is. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, draw a card. So 4 told cards or from the graveyard. Finally, we have Thornmantle Striker. This is one of those theme booster cards, which aren't theme booster cards because you get them in set boosters and collector boosters as well. For 4 and a black, you get a 4/3 rogue elf. When it enters the battlefield, you either remove X counters from target permanent, where X is the number of elves you control, or target creature an opponent controls gets -X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. That is it for tonight's stream. I appreciate everybody hanging out with me. Thanks for stopping by tonight, Chaos and Nova Zulu. Appreciate anybody else who was also lurking in the background. If you haven't had a chance yet, make sure to hit that follow button on Twitch or that subscribe button on YouTube. Definitely appreciate it. Probably do another stream later this week for anybody who's interested. Looking forward to seeing anybody that wants to come then. Have a good night, guys.